Hi everyone. Before I turn in for the night, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this topic of finding psychics, um, tarot readings, spiritual practices, and also how they relying on this particular New Age spiritual practices. In fact, come in the way of your healing from narcissistic abuse or even any form of how you just not just come in the way of your healing, but not just from narcissistic abuse, but any kind of healing from toxic relationships. And okay. I believe that I told some people before that there was a period of time when I was actually I would say it's dabbling in the occult as much as that I was trying to, find some foothold. And at that point in time, for a few months, and right after, that abuse ended, which was, I mean, thankfully it happened with this guard and everything. Uh, it dawned on me that, I really wasn't very, I wasn't really stable emotionally. So instead of finding a counselor or a psychotherapist, meaning a psychiatrist or psychologist, I at the point in time when you're actually really financially strapped and you do not know who to turn to, you would definitely be grasping at different sources and straws. And at that point in time, the next best kind of like alternative, as it seemed to me then, was to turn to tarot card reading. And in retrospect, looking back on that, I think it was a bit of a rabbit hole that I kind of jumped into without realizing how it was digging myself deeper and deeper. And contrary to what people were saying about tarot reading, I don't always believe that it's just it's not necessarily linked to so-called demons whatever. As much as that, I think there's a really problematic logical fallacy that you're digging yourself deeper and deeper into. So for those who do not know, there's this thing called the Barnum effect. Barnum. Okay, the Barnum effect is this idea that it's very similar to the self-confirming bias, that because you already believe in something, that you keep on looking out for what will confirm it. And that will actually reinforce it. Okay, so the thing about tarot card reading is that or not just tarot card reading, but new age practices like finding so-called professional psychics is that because you really believe that somehow these people or these sources of revelation will actually help you, and in this case from your healing from the pain and trauma of abuse, you will end up believing it even if it's not necessarily always the case. And I think in that point in time, I'm right now I don't really have that many decks anymore. I just cleared about most of them except for maybe 4 or 5 of them, and then there are some the normal ones such as this one, which I'm trying to get rid of. Selling people who collect them. And this is I kept on hanging on these few because they were part of this whole thing that was linked. That mean the art and the depictions were related to what I did in medieval studies back in my PhD, my masters. So I thought, oh, you know what, a ways to just give them to someone or sell them without just selling them at a certain price. But that's it. Okay. I just want to actually go back to this idea. You know that the prevalent view of people who actually do not recommend tarot card reading, or finding professional psychic is that there's this whole idea of getting deceived by demons and demonic spirits. While it is possible in some cases, because we know that there are, in the spiritual realm, there's such a thing called a monitoring spirit. And some of these so-called psychics or mediums, okay, or psychic mediums, they might make the mistake of telling you to actually do certain things that actually get you trapped deeper and deeper in the abuse. There was this one particular piece of news. It wasn't really an interview. It was actually a story in the New York Times. Yes, about this woman, okay, who was actually trapped in an abusive relationship with a psychopath, and because the psychic kept on feeding her the wrong information, that you know what, telling her, oh, you know what, this man is probably just suffering from some issues. You should stay with him till you all both sort it out, just to um, till the person gets it over with. And that actually led to the girl eventually being stalked. Uh, yeah, stalked and harassed by her ex after she left him. And according to that victim, she was in fact stalked not just by any other man, but by a psychopath. I don't really know what to say, but I guess that a lot of these people do that. So these psychopaths and narcissists, they do stalking and hoovering. So the end is nothing to really to them. But to go back to this, okay, the thing is the Barnum effect is a very dangerous thing. Okay, not only because it's linked to the self-conforming bias, but it also primes us for further manipulation. Okay, that's the second thing. What do I mean by manipulation? Okay, when I say manipulation, I don't just mean manipulation by other narcissists, but even possibly by the psychic or psychic medium themselves. Right now, you know that in certain countries like Canada, you cannot actually claim to do a so-called reading or psychic reading, whatever you call, or do fortune telling, and then claim to ask. You cannot ask for hundreds and thousands of dollars in the name of being some witch or or whatever, or psychic. Yeah, that's this law in Canada, which prohibits yeah, prohibits pretending to be a witch. So in the USA, I believe that in the USA it's actually called psychic fraud. Right here in Singapore, there's no such rule. I mean, there used to be a lot of these cases where, you have religious confidence tricksters where they claim that they have a stone, a rock, something you can just put in water, and drinking that water that has come into contact with that particular stone or rock will cure you of a disease or curse or whatever. I mean, we know that it's not true, and police cases against this have been going on for um, yeah, for a number of years, since like the 1990s, and since the 1990s or 1980s, since I was a small boy. We had it on television back when I was still really young here. But the second thing about this manipulation aside, we know that some of these potential psychics are actually narcissists and psychopaths themselves. Okay, what is a psychopath and a narcissist? I mean, we're not talking about diagnosing them, but it's the thing about a lot of narcissists and psychopaths is that they really believe in the version of the lie that they tell themselves and other people. And what more do psychics do? Okay, so they go around telling people one version of the so-called lie, which is not true. You know that, okay, I know that some people say, oh, no, 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 but there's some psychics who appear on TV. Do you realize that the number of these so-called psychics, such as Sylvia Brown, who calls herself the Long Island Psychic, I mean, none of them have actually basically solved any murder mysteries. And up till now, they have claimed that, oh, they can actually talk to the dead. But you know that actually even spirits, demons and demonic spirits can masquerade as the something else. So and why then are you even engaging with the spirits of the dead um, when we know that actually is forbidden in a large part of, like, let's say in most of the monotheistic religions do not actually in the world do not actually allow that. Okay, I mean, not just maybe for the most part, even the major religion being Christianity, does not allow that. Why do we try so hard? Why do we try so hard to do that? A lot of it springs out from our own insecurity as people. If anyone has actually done any social studies of the statistics of people who go to find psychics and psychic mediums, you will realize that in certain countries, such as, let's say, South Korea, which has a very high Christian presence or permeation rate, that claims that at least 33% is probably Christian, including Orthodox and also Catholic Christianity. Yeah, but other than the traditional Protestant denominations. Um, but the thing is this: I don't really believe that actually God would want you to seek what actually will mislead you. And if you were to find some means to actually, if you want to heal, turn to God first. I know that's not all my listeners are actually Christians, so but from my point of view, there's not no harm in turning to God and turning to Jesus Christ, turning to Jesus Christ, yeah. So, and even if you don't turn to Jesus Christ, what benefit can you get from talking to so-called alleged spirits of the dead when you should leave the dead where they are. If they are where they are in the realm of the dead, we shouldn't be disturbing them, because you never know what you'll be digging up when you try to do all these things via the psychic medium. Yeah. So, to go back to this whole thing about this, there's one other reason. Okay, the first reason being that the Barnum effect is dangerous. Okay, the self-fulfilling prophecies, yeah, of finding psychic is dangerous. Um, the second one being that you are also primed for manipulation and abuse further. Okay, the third thing that the third reason why I warn against finding psychics is something that I think that actually, how should I say, it's something that stops you from living the life you should be actually living. Okay, I know sometimes it sounds very cliched when we say, okay, a lot of people say this, God helps those who help themselves. There are people who don't agree, and then I by myself, I'm like a bit, I'm a bit skeptical about this, because let's say that sometimes we don't have the means to help ourselves. Okay, we need help. Yes, we need from other people. And so to claim that we help ourselves is a bit of a wrong-headed thing. But at the same time, okay, the third thing as to why this finding these psychics, or this turning to these new age practices will actually stop you from healing, is that you are not placing the responsibility for everything, the outcome, on yourself. Okay, or you are placing it in someone or something other than yourself. And why would you give your authority away just like that? Okay, like, yeah, we say, oh, some people who are atheists will say, yeah, I don't even trust in God. Yeah, but you don't trust in God, or agnostics, they say that, or God of any particular religion. But why then are you turning to a so-called particular system or tradition where you go and find someone who reads the cards or claims to touch you and know what it is by reading your aura? I don't buy that kind of argument. It's a very it's just it's a prejudice argument. So I believe ultimately these people, these psychics or alleged psychic mediums, will still be judged by God accordingly. So especially, if most of them are actually probably fake anyway, but most of them are probably fake. And if they mislead you down a path of immoral choices or unethical choices, um, the punishment is even heavier. Okay, so yeah, don't put the responsibility for your own life in someone else's hands. Okay, especially when God gave you that right to decide what you can do. That if it's just like case of, like, you being responsible to find doctor when God has given you the doctor, why are you going to find a so-called fortune teller will tell you how to cure yourself of disease or how the disease will turn out. It's not a very healthy thing. Yeah. Okay. So so I hope that actually this will dissuade anyone who's thinking of finding a so-called psychic if you are in the process of getting out of some relationship with someone toxic. Okay, because yeah, it's not good advice even if they give you advice. The psychics. And why would you want to have advice from people who are there to make money from you? It's not genuine advice anyway. Genuine advice is advice from someone who truly cares for you. um, these people barely know you. Okay, they don't even know you personally until you have actually opened yourself up to them for a few, maybe not a few dollars, but maybe for hundreds and hundreds of dollars or even thousands. But why would you be so gullible? Okay, so anyway, that's it for now. I'll get back again. Okay, and yeah, have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.